tilting three-wheel vehicle, and the combination of those technologies makes a vehicle which can both fly and drive really like a car, fast, 180 kilometers an hour, fly like a gyrocopter, also about 180, 200 kilometers an hour. So an ideal vehicle which gives you the ultimate freedom in mobility. My co-founder had this vision because he got frustrated by the fact that flying mostly is done from A to A. It's not a real mobility solution. And that is because you leave from a place where you don't want to leave and you land where you don't want to be. And to get there you have problems, and to get away you have problems again. So that's why private flying is a very small market. And from that frustration he started to work on how can I make an airplane drive. And he worked with universities in the Netherlands, with research institutes, and they came up after 5 years with a concept which really worked, because there was another company in the Netherlands which made the breakthrough, which is a tilting three-wheel vehicle, and this tilting technology enabled them to really keep an airplane stable on the road. So the performance of the first version will be that you can fly it with 2 persons and a little luggage. You can drive it up to 180 kilometers an hour because it's a very light vehicle, and there's a powerful engine powering it because you have to fly with it. Flying, it can also go about 180 kilometers an hour cruising speed. The height, well, you can go up to 4,000 meters, but flying high is no fun. The beauty of a gyrocopter is flying low is safe. So most people will fly it maybe at 200 or 300 meters and then have a good view and enjoy flying. In terms of landing, it's almost vertically. In terms of taking off, you take about 160 meters before you go off, and then you're in the air. Yeah, our dream for the future is first to prove the commercial viability of the business, and then we will make different versions, because next to personal mobility, it's also a way to change how we do aid operations, or how policing is done, or how border control is done. Because if you do surveillance from the air and you can land somewhere, drive and do something, you can change the way we do our homeland security compared to how we do it now. So those things will happen, and our dream is to bring different versions of this technology to different applications and give people a better way of moving around, or a better operation in the way they do things at the moment.
Alright, now Sally Food, just in case you had one of these, what would you do with it?
I am just imagining the Latrikunda Tabokoto Highway. Especially during closing hours.
The show styles, the cruise,
like Moody on the traffic.
Alright, moving on. In 2012, the planet generated about 49 million tons of electronic waste, and by 2017, this is expected to rise to 65 million tons per year. New EU laws, which came into force on 14th February 2014, now force countries to recycle at least 45% of their e-waste and make it more difficult to export it illegally to the developing world. But a significant amount of e-waste ends up in Southeast Asia and West Africa to be picked apart by workers, often children, in sometimes dangerous conditions.
BBC Clicks David Reed visits Agbonglosi, Ghana, to find out more.
Recycling West Africa style. Consumer electronics smashed, sorted, and the valuable metals extracted. This is Agbogloshi, Accra, where technology goes to die. Workers here are smelting, feeding fires with TV casings and fridge interiors, a heat fierce enough to burn the insulation off electrical cables.
So what are you looking for? When I'm doing this, I'm looking for copper.
A fingertip search through the ashes gleans scraps of metal that are then sold on. Take-home pay between 5 and 7 euros. Time to leave Agbogloshi and head with Vincent to Ghana's Atomic Energy Commission. The lab has performed a battery of tests on soil from the site. They found cadmium 30 times over acceptable levels. It can cause cancer, kidney failure, bone disease. Levels of lead, which attacks the nervous system, topped 100 times the recommended maximum dose. You wouldn't live here?
I would not advise anybody to live there. Meanwhile, this place has been classified as one of the most pollutant or contaminated sites in the world.
The processing at Agbobloshi is fed by the illegal traffic of e-waste into Ghana. Today, used TVs from Australia and Spain are being loaded onto waiting trucks. There's nothing wrong with importing used tech if it works. If it doesn't, it's hazardous e-waste, and it shouldn't be here. So how many of these TVs actually work? And they all work?
Yeah,
they all function?
Yeah, 99% are working.
100%?
Yeah, about 99.
99%? How big is 1%?
How big is 1%?
Ghana is working on legislation to prevent illegal e-waste imports, but it's taking time as legislators don't want to curb the legitimate trade in used tech. In the meantime, young men and boys will continue to stoke the fires at Agbobloshi and pay a heavy price with their health for a handful of change.
bii nag mooy momi mayonnaise ma bii kan moo ko fi indi bii indi wuñ ko dañ ko liggéey fii ci réew mi fii la juddoo bool indi Gambia la compagnie bu ñuy wax Mayo compagnie moo ñëw fii ci réewi Gambia yokk koom-koomi réew mi defar réew mi ba mu baax te dinaa la yëgal lu tuuti lu bariwul nen lañ ko defaree ba mu set ak diwlin di nga xam ne mooy soyo bi mayo bi nga xam ne moo gën ci diw yi muy mayonnaise boo xam ne bu ko gën amul bu ko dàq amul bu ko gën a neex amul bu ko gën a setit amul ndax fii lañ ko defaree segg ko seet ko dama wax ne dem leen uti ci mayonnaise bi momi mayonnaise bi ku ko fi bàyyi bàyyi sa mayonnaise momi mayonnaise bi ndax ak fii la juddoo man ci ne uuhu xale yi ne waaw waaw liggéey bi ñu ko liggéey def ko ci mu àndal sotal gi mu sax nen lii moo ñu yemal
Mummy mayonnaise is a delicious and great mayonnaise that can cheer you up. A Gambian-produced mayonnaise made with great quality ingredients like soybean oil, eggs and vinegar.